Hello, everyone. This is Manoj Tandon, and welcome to another episode of Dark Rhino Security Confidential. Today, we are honored to have Josh Mason join us. Josh has a great history. He has over 10 years of military experience. He was an Air Force pilot, went to the U.S. Air Force Academy, became a cyber warfare officer. Currently, he's a senior technical trainer at Neuvik Solutions, providing training, engagement management, penetration testing, risk assessments, and business consulting. And in his free time, he provides guidance to a host of people on how to develop their cybersecurity careers. We're honored to have him. Welcome to the show, Josh. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
So, Josh, you got a heck of a background. And we'd love to, and this is the one peculiar thing I'll tell you. Of the hundreds of guests we've had, I'm trying to think, maybe I can count on one hand the number of people who actually got a degree in cybersecurity in college. But by and large, everybody else has come here from somewhere else. So you got to share your story. How do you go from the U.S. Air Force Academy to cyber warfare to a career in cybersecurity now? I mean, how did this happen?
The first time I think I thought about and researched getting a job was maybe freshman year of high school. At that point, I was big into band, and I wanted to become a band director and thought that was great. And then I got tired of band and realized, maybe I don't want to do this. And someone mentioned, you know what? Did you know you got good eyesight? You can go fly planes. And I was like, wait, how do I do that? They're like, well, so if you get into the Air Force Academy, it's free and it's hard to get into, but you can do it. And then if you don't stink there, then you can get a pilot training spot. And then if you don't stink there, you can get in a cockpit. And I was like,
that's awesome.
You know what? I'm not like the best at things, but I can get away with don't stink. Like, I can do that.
That's an honest self-assessment.
And so I rode that all the way to a cockpit.
Wow.
It worked. I did not get in the academy the first time. I had a decent enough SAT score that I could get into a few schools in California. My GPA was all right, but I wasn't going to get scholarships or anything huge. So I actually went to a prep school. I was close enough. Eagle Scout, a bunch of other stuff. I was close enough that the Air Force Academy is like, hey, here's a scholarship. Go to prep school. Don't stink. And we'll see you next year.
That is very cool. So the Air Force paid for prep school.
A little bit. I also worked that first summer pulling wires through rich people's houses in Southern California, setting up home automation. The irony now that ring doorbells and speakers in every room, and you don't need to pull any
those
wires.
Are some seriously unsecure systems.
I totally messed up someone's Venetian plaster walls, and they had to spend an extra like $2,000 to send the painters back, just so I could cut out a little hole to put a touch screen at outside of a bedroom door. That was a fun summer.
I was going to say that gig you had to have some stories to tell there, but that was actually IT work. I mean, people still pull cables through walls. It's not glamorous work, but heck, man, without it, it's hard to have a network.
I terminated RJ45s and Cat 5e back when that was like the thing. I haven't done it since, ironically.
Well, I'm sure you've helped secure some networks though, but it did involve pulling the cables through.
So, by the time I made it cyber, they were like, "You're a captain. We have people for that." Yeah.
So then in the Air Force, you went right in you were a cyber warfare officer. You transitioned to that.
Yeah, my wife and I were both C-130 pilots. Some family stuff happened. Some complicated stuff happened.
Sure.
She ended up getting medically retired, and I went through some stuff and ended up ending my flying career and getting reclassified into cyber. And because I still owed time back from pilot training. So,
Got
uh,
it.
yeah.
But that's what. Can you talk about what a cyber warfare officer in the Air Force does?
So classically, up until I found out myself, I had known it as a communications officer. And
Okay.
truth be told, it was the last thing almost any of us wanted to do at the academy. My wife followed around a communications officer when she was visiting a base in Japan. And she was like, this guy's job is so sad. Uh, it's answering emails and going to staff meetings and like, hey, did you get that memo about the TPS reports? um, and it wasn't wrong. I got to the first Special Operations Communications Squadron at Hurlburt Field, Florida, where we had A10 or not A10 AC-130 gunships. We had U-28 spy planes, CV-22 or MV-22 Ospreys,
Yep.
like a lot of awesome stuff. The biggest Air Force Special Operations Command base. And while my mission ended up being in charge of QA and training and helping people get out the door so that they could go and be the
Yeah.
IT, the cybersecurity person on
Yeah.
like this small special operations base, majority of my time was in staff meetings or replying to emails for the commander or their commander or command staff. And after 6 months of it, I was asking my boss, like, hey, could I go teach back at the academy? Could I go get this teaching job at AFIT? Like,
Yeah.
hey, I heard about this opportunity. He's like, look, Josh, if you want to go teach, there's a special operations school literally across the parking lot. They have a cyber warfare officer billet. That guy needs to PCS. He needs to move. So you could go over there if you really want to. I was like, yeah, I'll go teach. Would love to teach. And I've been an instructor ever since. So that was
Wow.
2018.
That's pretty cool. Do you think
Yeah.
there's there's any kind of a bias against veterans who are trying to enter the civilian space in cybersecurity?
I don't think so. I haven't seen it.
Glad to hear.
Yeah.
I know we've had some veterans on that said that sometimes there's, or maybe it's their own self-impression that people think of them a little differently. But,
I've
we
heard
hire a
that.
lot of veterans and we think they're some of the best folks out there, man.
Yeah. Especially that's one of the things I found in this industry. There's so many people who are like-minded to the military mindset. Like we're out here to help protect and help people. And so then I don't know, when I hear of veterans who come in, people are like, yeah, I want to help them out. But yeah, I haven't heard negative biases. Maybe it's just people haven't said them to me or I've been in the right crowds and I'm glad for that. Glad to be in the right crowds. Sorry for those who have had negative experiences.
No, that's
a bummer.
I'm glad yours has been very positive, and I hope people listening can take that message away. And you've had your hand in a little bit of everything in cyber, so I have to ask, like in your immense experience, and if you were to generalize, what are some things that you see clients get wrong with Infosec, with their Infosec programs? Where do you see a lot of gaps that typically occur?
Yeah, it's often 3 weeks in a row we've been doing external pen tests or web pen tests, and
Okay.
it's always the same patching, certificates, security headers. Like there's so much low hanging fruit, and then you get into externally facing databases or admin portals, password reuse. Like it's wild.
Those are all the
It's the same
basics.
stuff. Yeah, right.
That's like the CISA top 5, man.
It is.
So,
And these aren't small companies, and these aren't the first pen tests we've done on them. It's yeah.
I can believe it, but why do you think that is? Why are we still not getting the basics right? Where's the gap?
Oh man, that is the golden question, and that's part of my plan for my talk. Is I feel like we're not getting the feedback to the people who need it. The communication isn't occurring in a way that makes sense. There needs to be more, I think, inside consulting in a lot of security teams, getting the message to decision makers, to the C suite, to department heads, to VPs about what the important factors are.
And
And then it becomes a negotiation of risk management and where resources should go in the organization.
and
And sales, marketing, product are all going to talk about, hey, we do this, we spend this, and it has led to X revenue. And
right.
security goes, well, we do X and it's led to, we haven't gotten breached, or we have. And it's hard to make that case, but a lot of that is changing. There are now models like the Cyber Matrix where you can point to, hey, if we change these things, we can actually increase efficiencies and
That's right.
reduce costs. If we were to get a SOC 2, if we were to get a CMMC, if we were to get our ISO 27001, we could be have more opportunities in these markets. And that's a case that needs to be made, not from a, I think we should do this so that we check a box, but a case for the business. We should do
That's
this so we
right.
have more opportunities, so that clients trust us, so that customers trust us, because we've shown off these things. If we don't show up in the news all the time for having breaches, then people might be more likely to use our product.
That's right. And there's a lot, when you look at the loss of reputation to the brand, the legal fees that can go with it, and the fines that can come along with that, and the losses in sales. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I, Target cited way back when in an annual report that they had lost $300 million because of the breach, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's real money. So companies need to think of those of cybersecurity in real financial terms. It's not a IT problem. It is very much a business problem,
Yeah.
and it needs to be looked at in that way. Now, I
Mm-hmm.
know one thing that, and we've brought this up many a times on this program, that and our guests have, that oftentimes that communication that you are talking about that is so needed, a lot of our colleagues on the cybersecurity side may not know how to make that case exactly the right
Oh
way.
yeah. One of my first job, like extra duties after I learned how to fly the C-130. You go through pilot training, you're 100% just flying, just focused on
Yep.
flying. And then you get to your squadron, it's like, okay, cool. Now that's going to become your like 10% of your job. The other big chunk of your job is going to be working in an office, making everything else work. I went off to aircraft mishap investigation school and learned how to run safety investigations for plane crashes
Wow.
and
Okay.
researched, went through their course, which included looking at lots and lots of remakes of footage, black box audio that's been put with graphics, and then going out to some sites that they have at the school and looking at uh, carcasses of planes, where the red on it is, yeah, that's someone's blood, um,
Wow.
and realizing that this stuff, if we don't take lessons learned and apply them, there's nothing that's going to occur. And 30, 40 years ago, planes were not as safe as they are now. There were not the regulations that were in place. And even with plane crashes, it wasn't painful enough for airlines and for carriers and manufacturers to really dive in and make things safe from the start. I mean, 737 Max, we saw that recently, and even that, they followed most of the right practices. But the FAA had to step in, had to say, hey, no, you understand this part. Every
Yeah.
plane has to be over a certain weight, has to be airworthy in architecture before it's even put into design. And then before it's airworthy, it has to be tested by the government. And then you can sell it to people. We
Yep.
can make code and sell it now. I can put it on GitHub and anyone can get it. And it can make them super vulnerable. And who's responsible there? Is it them for trusting my bad code? Is it me for putting out bad code? At some point, someone's got to be responsible. And if we can put teeth on it in the right place so that people care, because they're not caring about their breaches, 200 million to target is still less than 0.5% in ARR. So they could have a few of those breaches a year and still not see any big change to their stockholders other than less people showing up to their stores that they'll see. So I think it's good. I think it's good if things get some teeth on them. I think it's good if
But
some people...
There's a few things that it would require a massive change. To me, it's...
Oh, yeah.
What I akin it to is, I don't know, you're probably way too young to remember, but way back when, there was this ideation that we would switch to the metric system in the United States. And we know how that all ended up. We never really were able to make the switch, although it was a big government-imposed program. This is almost like that because of the confluence of a couple factors. One, people are used to free. There's a lot of free stuff out there. If they're going to have to pay for all that, and because there would be a much higher cost of development that would have to get borne by somebody.
Yeah.
And who is that somebody? And does that change the free mindset? And it's an uphill road.
Yes, but also look at this. Man, 25 years ago, I had dial-up.
Yes.
30 years ago, I didn't have an internet connection to my house.
That's right.
100 years ago, multiple people could not fly on an airplane because it had a small little motor that was not pulled from a car, but from a tractor.
That's right.
Yeah, everything that we know now, it seems like it's such a big leap. But 60, 70 years ago, we didn't have highways that went from coast to coast at all. So yeah, is it going to be a big change? Yes. Can it be done? Yeah. We've made these big changes before. They're organic. They happen anyways. But if we want to see real change occur, it has to be pushed. And here's the sad thing, it either gets pushed or it's going to get pushed in a sad way. I was in high school when September 11th happened, and the world changed massively. The United States changed massively. And I was young. Look at this pandemic. How much has changed in the last 3 years?
A lot.
From something so small. So if we want to put change out there, if we want to push positive change instead of waiting to see what naturally is going to happen, what fate is going to bring us, I think that that's a good idea because eventually change is going to happen. If we can plan for it, if we can massage it, if we can manage it, it's better.
And get people to go along, because I tell you, man, people are so resistant. You're right. But, you look at 9/11, that was imposed on us. You look at the pandemic, that was imposed. Mm-hmm. And yes, now the outcome of it, those things are here to stay. I mean, I don't see everybody ever going back to the office. Some people will, but work from home is going to remain a real thing, and it's going to continue that way, right?
Yep.
People not having to fly. For me, that was one of the best things. I used to travel so much. Mm-hmm. It's wonderful not having, Zoom is great.
Oh, yeah.
Don't have to get on an airplane. There's still reasons to do it, but it's a lot less. It's a lot less than what it once was. but that was imposed on us by an external force majeure, if you will, something, trying to get people to do the right thing. You know what? Run for office, Josh.
No, I like to sit in lofty towers and
it's a great concept that I agree with, but wow, man, it's like getting people to eat right. Yeah, good luck with that. Hey, listen, we're already at the hour. Boy, we didn't even get through. We'll have to have you back, but I do want to give you a chance to plug anything that you'd like. The floor is yours for this last minute or so. Any appearances, books, blogs, whatever you want to plug. Please go ahead.
I'll do it quick. I run a couple nonprofits, Cyber Supply Drop and New Village. They're both .org, and they provide resources and Cyber Supply Drop in the form of giveaways and prizes and free vouchers and training for individuals who are trying to get in. It's a way of pushing people to do a little bit of work to help themselves, and in that, then rewarding them for putting in the work. It can be getting them to start posting and sharing things on LinkedIn that is going to benefit them in their careers. But also now you might get a free voucher for a Security Plus. We did that recently, or for Security Plus training directly from an instructor. I just, a couple of my winners just got their books that we sent to them in the UK yesterday. And New Village is resources around resumes and LinkedIn profiles and branding and where to find resources. I'm a big fan of free training, and there's a lot of good free training or cheap training out there. I've made some of it myself. But those are two of the things that I'm constantly running. The other thing I wanted to talk about, I'm going to be speaking at Hack SpaceCon at Kennedy Space Center on the 15th of April.
Oh,
and they're still selling tickets. And if anyone reaches out to me, I can help them find if there's discounted tickets, or help them connect and find out what free training is happening. The 14th is a whole day of free training that includes pen testing and threat hunting and a lot of neat stuff for free on the 14th.
Is that in person? So they have to be at Kennedy?
It is.
That's a cool place. So.
Yeah. And then I'll be talking about what cybersecurity teams can learn from the aviation and aviation safety community. So
there's a lot there. Cascading failures is a topic in itself. So
yep.
I'll tell you what, Josh, it's been fantastic having you here, and we'd love to have you back to talk about exactly that. The free resources. I read an article on LinkedIn that you had posted that had some really good insights for people who are trying to get their Security Plus or get other cybersecurity training. Would love to have you share that with the audience and share resources. I think people are hungry for that, and you're doing great work. Thank you for doing what you do.
Thanks. Those posts that you just mentioned with resources are featured on my profile on LinkedIn. So if anyone's listening, they can go to the show notes and jump to my LinkedIn or to New Village, and I have links to all those resources there as well. I'm trying to make it as easy for people as I can.
Sounds fantastic, Josh. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure having you here, and hope to see you again soon.
Thanks, Manoj.
Thank you.